The sports show welcomes Josie Benson. She's aged 44 and started running marathons at the age of 40. She's an acclaimed stage actress and ultra-marathon enthusiast. The former South London youth worker is facing her latest challenge to raise money for one of Wandsworth's largest youth clubs by running 6 marathons in 7 days. Crazy attempt. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Okay. So you're heading to Nevada, Josie?
Yes, I am. I'm going to the Grand Canyon. I'm going to be running 170 miles over the course of 7 days. It's called the Grand to Grand. It's one of America's toughest ultra-endurance races.
And what possessed you to take that up?
Well, you know, like you said, I've been running marathons and ultras and multi-stage races for about 4 years now. And a couple of years ago, I was senior youth work manager of Devas Youth Club, which is a large youth club in South London. And within Devas, I set up a youth club called Devas Juniors, which is for 8 to 11-year-olds. And we kind of thought a great way to raise money for Devas Juniors would be to continue running marathons and get fundraising that way.
So let's get this straight, Josie. They say you shouldn't ask a lady's age,
I don't
but
mind.
this is central to what we're trying to discuss here today as well, because we're going to be inspiring a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So, 44 years old now. 4 years ago, you decided to take up running marathons.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I was in the musical Sweeney Todd with Michael Ball and Imelda Staunton, and the whole cast encouraged me to run a marathon. I'd run a few 10Ks and hadn't found it too hard at all. So I ran the Brighton Marathon, and within a couple of days I was fully recovered. So I thought, I'm quite good at this. So over the course of 4 years, I've run 27 marathons and ultras.
27 over the course of the last 4 years?
Yeah.
And have most of them been UK based?
Most of them, in fact, all of them have been UK apart from the Jungle Marathon, which takes place in the Amazon jungle in the depths of the Amazon in Brazil.
How was that?
Well, that was amazing. I call that actually a trek. It's not really a race because most of the time you're trekking through the jungle, you're wading through swamps, you have to swim through rivers, potential anacondas, you're running through the jungle in the dead of night, it's jaguar territory, you can hear the jaguars growling. It's a very dangerous race, but the Amazon jungle is one of the most spectacular places on the planet. So I felt really honoured and privileged to be there. And that was a trek of around 180 miles over the course of 7 days.
So the last thing on your mind during that trek or run was mosquitoes?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We were attacked by a nest of hornets which got disturbed, and a lot of people got bitten really badly and went into shock, but thankfully they didn't come near me. I was lucky.
And any updates on the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster? When you did the
I didn't,
marathon
no, I ran alongside the Loch Ness for about 4 hours, didn't spot it at all. Yeah, very, very beautiful place.
So you've seen some wonderful, you've run some scenic, beautiful, picturesque runs. Is that a bonus when it comes to running?
Definitely. For some reason, I always choose marathons which have water close by, or I run along the British coastside, which is absolutely beautiful. And they say that water has a therapeutic calming effect, and I really do find that if I'm running a marathon, I've been running for say 3 hours, I'm exhausted, I'm in a lot of pain. If you've got the ocean on one side of you, it really helps kind of calm you down.
And when you're running, Josie, what do? Do you play something? Or do you chit-chat to fellow runners, or do you just zone out?
The wonderful thing about running marathons and ultras, especially ultras, if you're out there running for 5 to 11 hours, you meet some amazing people. I did I think it was the Stevenage Marathon, and I ran alongside a man called Danny. At the time, this was about 2 years ago, he was 72 years old. And I was really struggling. I was a bit teary. I was running for about 4 or 5 hours. And he kept me going, and I forgot about the pain because I was just in awe of this 72-year-old man running alongside me. And then he said, "See you later, Josie, I'm going to speed up now," and he finished before me, long before me.
And he zoomed off?
Oh, yeah,
the 72-year-old?
Yeah. He belonged to what's called the 100 Marathon Club, which is an exclusive club you only get into when you've run 100 marathons or more. So,
amazing.
Very experienced runner.
So 40 or thereabouts is an age where people actually look to wind down in terms of, should we say, physical pursuits, and runs and daredevil activities.
Yeah.
You're going to inspire a lot of people, I should say, men and women, who may be, I mean, like myself, as we were talking before, I've done 3 marathons, and I've kind of given up on running a full marathon. I'm thinking, right, you know what, I'll stick to half marathons, which I can do actually. The impressive thing is I can actually do it without training. I can go out there and run, but you've inspired me.
Yeah.
Do you get a good positive feeling at the fact that there'll be other people who will be watching you now or reading about you in the media and thinking, you know what, I'm going to actually take up either running for the first time or I've parked it up, I'm going to rekindle my love for running again. And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel brilliant. I mean, I love to tell people about what I do in the hope that it will inspire people. And what I always say is that I was never this amazing athlete at school at all. When I was 40, I ran my first marathon. Before that, I didn't do that much running or that much sport. And the body's an amazing thing. And I think society tells us that, you know, once you reach 40, yes, it's time to sort of wind down, like you said. But I don't believe in that at all. I think a lot of it is to do with mind over matter, you know. And you can talk to your body as well. I remember when I started running long distances, I used to get problems with my knees. And I would talk to my knees and say, this is what we do now. We're running. We're running now. You know, it's not going to stop. And just, you know, eat the right foods, get enough sleep, you know, keep your mind good, stay focused, and you never know, you can pick up this new sport.
How important is sleep when it comes to keeping yourself in good or peak physical
condition? It's vital, because that's when your muscles repair, that's when you restore all your energy. It's very, very important. Me, myself, that's one of my letdowns. I don't get enough sleep. Not as much as I should. I probably sleep about 5 to 6 hours a night, when really it should be more like 8.
What's your eating schedule on a daily basis? Does it differ when you're in the run-up to a marathon, or do you stick to a disciplined approach?
I'm not that disciplined. I try and stay away from too much meat, just because that's a personal thing. If I'm going to do a long run, like I did a long run this morning, I pretty much always have porridge, you know, which is a very simple food. It's just oats and water with a bit of honey on top. And that will really sustain you for a good few hours. And then for lunch, usually I have couscous, steamed vegetables. My weakness is pesto. So I love to put pesto on everything because it, you know, it tastes good. Rice and peas. I may occasionally have some chicken stew with it. You know, nothing too, you know, hard to make. Just simple. The simplest foods are the best. You know, fresh fruit and vegetables. You can't go wrong. You can't get enough of them.
So me, when I'm doing a 10-mile run, for example, on the home straight, what I tend to do is, because I feel like I've earned it, I pick up a doner kebab on the way home with a big bottle of Coke.
Oh,
what's your honest opinion as a marathon expert on that?
That's terrible. Coke is, you know, one of the worst things you could possibly drink. Even if you have Diet Coke, you know, it's got ingredients in there which are actually designed to make you feel more hungry.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And if you're drinking the, you know, your normal kind of full sugared Coke, sugar is very, very addictive. They've done tests which have shown that sugar is as addictive as cocaine. You know, so you should really try and stay away from stuff like Coke, really. If you're craving sugar, it's best just to have fruit. You know, a ripe mango is packed full of sugar, and it is so sweet. And it's going to hydrate you as well, because it's grown from, you know, water.
Kids, if you're watching this, please don't follow my example anymore. Going back to Arizona, you mentally, physically prepared for the challenge ahead?
Am I physically prepared? Well, I've just finished performing in the hit musical In the Heights in the King's Cross Theatre, and I've been doing 7 shows a week for nearly a year. Wow. So finding the time to train, do proper training, you know, long runs, it's not so much finding the time, but finding the energy and then going to perform at night. So I don't feel that I've done as much training as I would have liked to have done. Mentally, I would say I am prepared, yeah. You have to, when you do ultras and multi-stage races, you have to find a place in your mind where you know you're going to be going through extreme pain and you want to give up. And you have to find a place which tells you, no, keep going. There's people relying on you back home to get some donations for Devas Youth Club, and you've done all this training as much as you could. You know, you've got to make it count.
So it's just as important to be, you agree, to be mentally prepared as well as physically prepared.
Definitely. And it's about not panicking as well.
Yeah.
You could be out there running all day and you get so exhausted, you kind of go into a state of panic, like, that's it, I've got to give up. It's about being calm and focused, resting for a while, and then just steady. I tend to run very, very slow and steady. I keep going, but it's at a slow pace. I'm not at the front with the elite runners, but
Sure.
you know, I pride myself on saying that, yeah, I do my own run and I finish it.
Are you a party runner? What I mean by it, do you take in the whole thing, or are you like the pro runners? You know, where they're head down, straight ahead, vision, fully focused on the road, just need to get it done. Which category would you place yourself in?
Definitely, I'd say 50-50. There'll be some miles I'm just focused, and there'll be people at the side, cheering, go on, and I can't hear them because I'm just focused on the next 10 miles. And sometimes you get into a really good rhythm with your breathing, and you feel your whole body is in tune, you know, your lungs, your heart, and you're at a really good pace for yourself, and that can keep you going for 10 miles or more. And then other times, you know, I might stop, look at the incredible scenery, take a picture.
I do that a lot. I take a lot of selfies. A lot of selfies.
I
did once. I was injured. I had a severely damaged Achilles. Would you believe it? My friends were doing it with me. They said they'd carry me. Silly sods, they didn't. But what I did was, it was more of a hike, like we said. It was the British 10K. But I made sure I took a selfie every half mile. So
but
I do
that's
that even
slow
now.
you
But that's
down,
part of my
isn't it?
experience as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm not obsessed with the time thing. People have their own ritual. When I run, what I tend to do is, I make sure I high five every single kid. If I miss one, I kind of go back. So I think I've got a little bit of OCD there. I've got to, it's like stepping on the cracks and all that. I make sure every kid who's in my line of vision gets that high five there. If I miss one, I've got to go back. But everybody's got their own rituals. It's a way of coping and getting you ticking and getting you through the race. Whereas if I'm doing individual running, I never join groups or clubs or whatever. It has to be me alone. Loner, because I get a lot of ideas. Do you often get that you get your creative juices flowing whilst you're running?
Yeah, definitely. Running, you know, and this, I'd like to tell people this because they think, oh, maybe that will work for me as well. But we all face different challenges and barriers in life which we think we can't overcome.
Sure.
And the great thing about running is it puts you into this kind of meditative state.
Yes.
And you can really focus on things that you may be struggling with, and you think to yourself, right, I'm running through those problems, you know, and if you're running for 4 to 5 hours, by the time you've finished, you may have had anger or anxiety about certain things. You've quite often you run it out, you know, and then you feel, I always say that after running a marathon, I feel renewed and ready to take on the world again. You know.
I make a lot of notes on my iPhone when I'm running. It just gets my creative juices flowing. Now, whether you like it or not, you're a role model for a lot of people. One of the interesting aspects I find of the work that you do outside of your, should we say, acting and your work as a youth worker is you going into schools and talking to young people about about your achievements, about your running, and just inspiring them. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, often when I speak to young people in schools or colleges, I tell them a little bit about myself as a child. When I was born, I was given up for adoption, and I was very lucky because I was adopted at the age of 6 months old. But when you're adopted or fostered or maybe growing up in care, which a lot of young people can identify with, you may go through life feeling somewhat aloof, like you don't always fit in, like you're different. And I was lucky, my godmother helped me turn that around and told me that I was special, different, unique and amazing. And I kept that with me for the rest of my life. And I guess that's one of the things that let me think, if other people can, run marathons, I can too. I might not be that fast, but I'll give it a go. And then it became something I was passionate about. And I encourage young people that if they have this voice in their head telling them, that they've got self-doubt or they're not really good enough, or that's for those special people to achieve those things, that they need to try and stamp that out, because they have the ability to do and be whatever they want to be,
And are you going to treat us to a sample of the song you sing to them?
Well, I don't think so.
We'll say
I'm not warmed up.
You're not warmed up. We'll let you off this time. We'll have mercy on you. Yeah. Josie, do you have a fundraising page?
Yes, I do. You can go to www.josieinthedesert.com. You can also follow me on Twitter @JosieJungle, or you can check out my Facebook page, Josie Benson.
That's www.josieinthedesert.com, and you've heard the Twitter handle there is Josie in the Jungle, and she's also on Facebook. Just search Josie, Josie, Benson, Benson. Do you have a fundraising target in mind?
Yeah, the target is 10,000. We're kind of near the 2,500 mark, so we've still got a long way to go. And we really do rely on members of the public to help fund DeVas Juniors. It's a wonderful after-school club. Young people can learn how to box, non-contact boxing we do. We do art therapy. We have a fully equipped recording studio. We have a basketball roof. We teach them how to do cooking. We grow herbs in the garden. It's an amazing youth club, and everybody from all over London, wherever you're from, is welcome to attend DeVas Juniors.
And do you have any particular projects in mind that you will allocate the money to, or do you just use it generally to benefit the youngsters?
It's basically to keep DeVas Juniors going. At the moment, we can only afford to run it once a week, but we'd like to expand it so it's every day of the week, and then to a weekend school as well.
Do you have a particularly favourite marathon that you've run?
The Loch Ness Marathon in Scotland was amazing, because most of the time you're running alongside the loch, and it's such a beautiful, awe-inspiring place.
A lot of people there during the run?
Yeah, I'd say about 1,000, 2,000 competitors, yeah.
And do you have a role model when it comes to running?
Do I have a role model? Ooh. Well, I have recently been reading about the Tarahumara runners, and they're a group of people who live in the Mexican canyons, in the caves. It's virtually impossible to find them, and the Tarahumara are some of the fastest people on the planet. They can run 5-10 marathons back to back, sometimes with bare feet through the mountains, hardly any hydration. So I would say those are the people who inspire me.
And what's next for you after Arizona?
After Arizona, well, the Grand to Grand have just launched their next multi-stage race, which will take place 2017 in Hawaii. So I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. There's the Kathmandu Marathon, there's the Everest Marathon, there's the Transvolcania Marathon up and down the mountains in Gran Canaria. The wonderful thing about marathons is they're all over the planet, and there are so many to choose from. It's a great way to meet other cultures, other people, and see this incredible world.
Josie, we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching the sports show. We'll see you this time, same time, next week.